The farm is mostly...
Give me my second.
Welcome to A's and O's Farm. We're located in Northeast Ohio in Mentor, and this farm is mostly solar powered and, like a lot of small farms, partially dysfunctional. We're eager to convince you to do solar because it's less about making sacrifices and more about making changes. Hi, I'm Tom Rapini.
And I'm Valerie Garrett. And this is our home. It's modest, but it's also low energy use. We don't have air conditioning. We burn with wood, and the house is primarily powered with our 4,000-watt solar array.
The first national solar tour was in 1993, and this home was one of 2 Ohio sites on the tour. It wasn't until 1995 that ACES took over the tour. Back in 1993, Real Goods Company sponsored the tour, and they had about 60 homes in the entire country. So back then, you were either passionate about the environment or you were trying to be self-sufficient, because in 1993, payback for a solar system wasn't even a thing. But now,
today's solar panels are a fraction of the cost of what they used to be and much more efficient.
What drove it was the demand for clean energy and for saving money. What was poor economic payback, as Tom stated, is now one of the leading reasons for somebody to do a solar installation. To increase payback, public utilities are required to do net metering, and also there's a 26% federal tax credit available. So I'm a solar consultant, and my job is to explain all of that to you in detail so you understand and feel comfortable. And each solar installation is unique and fits somebody's lifestyle. By the way, that 26% federal tax credit, that will go down to 22% next year, and the following year, 2022, will be 0. 10% for businesses. We can change that. We can drive that by voting in local and federal administrations who support alternative incentives, as opposed to those that are beholden to the fossil fuel and nuclear energy industry. So please, vote with your dollars and vote with your ballot.
Beam me up, Daddy. Okay, here we are at the farm's 4,000-watt solar array. As Valerie mentioned, it makes 75% of our power. It also means that 75% of our lawn care equipment is powered by the sun, and it means that 75% of our transportation, because of the electric car we have, is also powered by the sun. So that's fossil-free, low-carbon transportation from our car. The tour, by the way, is sponsored by ACES, as you know, and we're, as I said, part of Green Energy Ohio. I encourage you to make donations to those groups. Both of them help keep the momentum going for renewable energy. And by the way, if you'd like to learn more about the electric vehicle, ACES is having an electric vehicle driving rally as part of their virtual solar tour. And they're also having a homeowners day in which I will present a video with much more technical detail on the installation and the history of our solar array. So this is a ground mount array. It was made using locust logs from the farm, which have typically a 30-year life expectancy. Also surplus aluminum that I got from the salvage yards. The advantage of a ground mount system is, first of all, that we have access to full sun without worrying about taking down the shade trees around the house. Another advantage is we have the ability to adjust the angle, and this has been designed with a quick release of the screws and change the angle. As you know, as the sun drops lower on the horizon in the winter, you want to be perpendicular to the sun at all times if you can. And the third advantage is, in Northeast Ohio here, is that you can easily use a roof rake to sweep the snow off in the wintertime, therefore getting full solar power even on snowy December days. The advantages of a roof mount system are generally lower cost because you have less structure to make. It's right on the roof. It's also more efficient And that's mostly because this has a 200-foot underground cable going to the house, so you have some power loss in the distance. In a roof mount array, the power is right where you need the power, so you don't have much loss. And finally, roof mount systems tend to help add longevity to your roof because they're, first of all, protecting the roof from direct sunlight, and also they're keeping the heat off the roof as they're taking the hit for the heat themselves. So a couple things to consider when you make a decision whether you want to go roof mount or ground mount. So you might have noticed when we first shot this 22-panel solar array that all the way in the back is a very small panel. Not very small, but smaller than the regular one. That panel is actually powering the fan and the trap door for the poly house. It's totally automated, and it's also an autonomous system. No grid connection there. It is able to close the door and run the fan continuously whenever the sun's shining. And it's a very complementary application because when the sun is shining, and you may see it slowing down right now as the sun goes behind the cloud, but when the sun is shining, that's when you need the power the most to cool the poly house off. It does have a tiny battery to close everything, and in case the sun's down and you want to be able to close the door at a cool night. And I have entire plans for that, by the way, if you're interested. Okay, so now for more examples of solar applications and autonomous systems, we're headed to the garden with Valerie. Scotty, Warp Factor 9, Sector 4, Quadrant 8.
Our kids said that was cheesy. What do you think? So I am in our farm war zone where we use solar power to protect our organic crops from hostile animal takeover. So the solar powers our electric fence and the water pump. This is a perfect example of how solar readily lends itself to remote off-grid applications. Growing your own food provides independence, and organically growing food minimizes fossil fuel usage through less fertilizers and chemical inputs. It's also healthy. Speaking of which, Tom and I have both had a plant-based diet most of our lives. Tom's vegetarian, I'm vegan. A meat-based diet consumes more fossil fuels, water, and resources. There are many alternatives today if you'd like to transition your diet.
This is Ryan Rapini, our wonderful, talented, patient executive producer.
So the only thing better than solar power is human power.
Thank you. Wish you were here.